The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are good, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? No one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Jesus is like, you got to choose. Who's going to be in charge of your life? Is it going to be God, or is it going to be your pursuit and love for money? And what this verse says here at the end, it says you can't do both. You can't love God and money. And I'm just like, I feel like I do. You know what I'm saying? I love God, I really do, but I like money. I like when it's in my pocket. I like to get the bank statement, and there's some in there. And I like the stuff I buy. I do. And we're all that way. And we all have an affinity for money, right? I mean, you don't pretend, oh, no, not me. I couldn't care anything about money. I mean, you're wearing a shirt. I mean, money's important to you on some level, right? Money's important. And so for me to say, oh, money means nothing to me, that's just not true. So there has to be a line somewhere. There has to be a line where we know, do I have a healthy perspective on money or not? Am I just using money as a means to what God has called me to? Or have I gone too far in my passionate pursuit and love of money? And so as we kind of have this verse here, there's a few principles, kind of like ideas that answer the question, how do I know? How do I know if I've gone too far? And so we kind of got three things here I'd like for you to take note of. The first one is it causes you to neglect your relationship with God. If your pursuit of money is keeping you from worshiping God, you've got problems. It's keeping you from coming to church as much as you feel like you should. It's keeping you from really connecting with God throughout the day. It's keeping you, even when you're supposedly connecting with God, from really being able to focus. Because I can't get my mind off that next call that I need to make, that next deal that I need to make. I can't stop thinking about money, even when I'm supposed to be focusing on God. If you find yourself in that kind of a situation, then I believe you've gone too far and you're out of balance as far as making God more important than money. The second one is that it causes you to do something that's unethical. It's causing you to do something that you know is sinful. You're taking advantage of somebody. You're lying to somebody. You're doing something in this business deal that is unethical and sinful. Now, even as I'm saying that, you're saying, well, Charlie, you don't know how my business is. That's kind of how it is in my business. It's the only way to really to get things done with my business. I mean, it's kind of how everybody does it. Charlie, you just don't get it. Don't worry about what I do or don't get. You just try selling that to God, all right? God, it's just kind of how it is. I know it's lying, it's cheating, stealing. I know that. But it's kind of how my business is. What do you think God's going to say to that? Get another business, is what God is going to say to that. Right? If you find yourself in a situation where you say, I cannot do anything but something that's unethical, you've got a problem. And you've got to stop. But here's where I think that most of us end up, is when it changes your priorities. When you say God's most important, and then after that, my family's most important, and then my job, money, all that stuff, when you say that, but it's not real. When really your pursuit and accumulation of wealth is more important than any of that. It takes priority over God. It takes priority over your family. And some of you right now are thinking, well, you know, I'm doing this for my family. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. If you've ever said that out loud to justify why you work too much, I'm going to go ahead and say you've got a problem. Period. If you have to justify something in your heart you know doesn't feel right by saying, I'm doing it for my family, you've got a problem. Because they want you, not more stuff. Well, you don't know my family. I don't have to know your family. We need to be together. And if our pursuit of money and wealth, fortune and fame, and all of these things are keeping us from being able to connect and love our family, connect and love and serve God, we've got problems. I think really all of this comes down to a simple verse that many of you may be familiar with in Matthew 6, where Jesus says, seek first God's kingdom and His righteousness, and all of these things will be added to you as well. We need to reorient our hearts and our minds and our approach to money and say, God, you are first. What you want me to do with money, how much you want me to work towards this, that's what I want to do. What do you want me to do about debt? What do you want me to do about savings? What do you want me to do about give? God, I'm going to seek you first. And then I'm going to trust you, God, to take care of the rest. And He says He will. Do we trust Him? Are we willing to follow Him in this one of these most sensitive areas of our life? I hope so. Let me pray. Awesome God, I thank you so much for this opportunity to worship, to connect with you. And God, I just pray that in a real tangible way, God, that we'll be different. We just won't feel guilty, won't just feel bad. But God, that we'll make the changes we need to make in our lives and our finances, God, to honor you and to give you priority. We love you, God. And again, we thank you so much for this time. And it's in your Son's name. Amen.